All right, now we are on to Junk Converter. I showed you what you can do with Doppel Warrior because it's another level 2 that we can normal summon. Usually with Doppel Warrior, you need to have some sort of setup to be able to trigger it. And the ways we would do it in the past, the old school way was Effect Veiler. And then on our turn, we go Summon Junk, revive the Veiler that we used the prior turn, trigger Doppel that way. And then when Start of Synchron came, we were like, okay, this is pretty cool. That means we can go Tuning, search for Start of Synchron, summon Start of Synchron, Effect, search Illumination, send another Stardust, tribute the one on field for the one in grave, special Stardust, trigger Doppel. So it was a bit more inconvenient sometimes, but now we can just normal summon it and synchro with our hand with Scrap Synchron. I showed you that already in a previous video. Now we're on to our second level 2, which is Converter. This is a bit more consistent because it can pair with any tuner hand trap, and it can give you access to combo, whereas Doppel does not. So why would you even consider to normal summon this guy? Well, this is why. If you activate this effect, and you get ashed, you're cooked. Unless you're doing that as bait. Let's say you already have access to Synchro Fellows. Let's say you already have access to Junk Synchron. Or a way to speed it. Then you do it that way because this is so enticing to just interact with. Like, oh, why wouldn't you interact here? Why wouldn't you ash here? That's the only time you would do it, just to bait. Because it's like, okay, maybe that's all he has. Maybe they're unaware of the play that you have Scrap Synchron. Maybe you discard something else. Maybe you discard a redundant hand trap. That's why you would do it. But other than that, you have to do the other way around because you want to play your own ash. Now that you know that that's not what you do because you want to play around the ash, now you have the possibility to just normal summon the Junk Converter instead of just using the ash. So I'm going to be showing you 4 different combos, one more than the Doppel variant. It's not as versatile because some of the lines are quite linear, so there's not many points of deviation, but that's still fine because you get into your Herald before getting into Nibiru range, which is huge, which is something that the Doppel variant couldn't do. My issue with it. This is going to be the Converter one, okay? We're going to go ahead and go for Scrap. You're playing on Ash here as well, right? So chain 1, dodges Ash, chain 2, Converter to revive, right? If you get imprimed on that, your extender would have to be Synchro Fellows or a Tuning or Assault Synchron itself. Okay, just keep that in mind. All right, so right here, since we're still trying to play on Ash, you Synchro away and make the Herald. So now you're blocked from Nibiru. If they have Ash for your Synchro Fellows, then your next extended would have to be Junk Synchron, Overtake, Tuning. The deeper you go into your sequence, the difference your extended will be, okay? Just keep that in mind. Right here, the card we discard is going to get banished. That's not really going to matter too much. That can actually help us in some cases because sometimes we can get access to like a Dispatter, and Dispatter can revive that somehow. I don't know. It's something that we can consider. We then reduce the Herald, summon the Junk Synchron, revive the Converter, and we go into our Junk Speeder. And then from here on out, they try to negate that, which is Herald, negate, and then progress from there. Stardust searches Illumination. We go into our Synchro Climb. The reason you do this is because you want to get the Assault into the graveyard to revive our SD, because in this variant, extra deck has changed. And this is what I was talking about, that sometimes we have to see what's the most optimal route in order to get a definitive lineup of extra deck or main deck monsters. So we're just Synchro Climbing here. That's it. That's all we're doing. And then we're going to go into SD as he revives Scrap. And now we are able to use Illumination as a teleport because we control a Stardust Dragon or a monster or a Synchro monster that mentions it. So then we're going to go ahead and summon our Trail. And this is where it differs, where we have to use the effect of Assault Synchron, right? So we're going to go ahead and use SD, tribute itself, Synchro into Crimson. It will trigger our Assault Synchron, reviving our SD, because you need to be able to get a convenient way to get high levels to Synchro into your Crimson target. We get Rumble. We go into our 11 Synchro to target it with Crimson to make our SMSD. He's back. And then now we're gonna go into XL Synchron. Usually we use XL to dump a Stardust Synchron to increase its level by 4 to make it a 9, so then we can climb into a Dispatter. But because Herald is preventing us from sending anything XL Synchron because it sends for cost to change its level, so we can't do that, which is unfortunate, but it's still fine. We can manage. Revive Trail, and this is where it's quite crucial because Trail's a dragon, right? It allows us to make a Dispatter. Dispatter revives our Trail, and then now we go for our Omega, And this is going to be the end board. So the only difference will be whether you want to possibly have another card to pitch for the Jet Synchron, and you can rumble the Ancient Fairy, and then Ancient Fairy and Jet Synchron can turn into a Crystal Wing, or you can mill for Rev. But the thing with Rev is if you don't fulfill the cost, so let's say you mill a monster, it won't summon itself because the monster will get banished, and that's like the only issue. So that's why you can just pitch for a Jet Synchron, which is pretty cool. I like it. Here is combo number 2. It's going to be slightly different because it depends on how you want to sequence the ending of your combo, depending on what you want to end on. Like the previous one was ending on Omega to return the Assault Synchron to give you a second Omni, whereas this is going to be slightly different. We're going to go ahead and get... I just added Full Speed War just to show you that it doesn't matter what you add in this card. Just don't be psyched out by that. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and summon. So all the combos will initiate itself by doing this line, just to get the Herald and then the Speeder. Anything after will be completely up to you, depending on your extra deck. Okay, so once you resolve Speeder, it is up to you what extra deck you want. There's not going to be no wrong or right. It's just going to be what is the boss monster you want. I mean, of course, you're not going to play something like like Stardust Warrior. I mean, you could play that, I guess, but you know what I mean? Like everything from this point on, it's just, it'll differ to what you feel. I want this boss monster instead of that one, right? Then we get go for the Synchro Climb. Like right here for Ancient Fairy, if you really wanted to, you can just play a Q-Belt to have a pop, just to have a bit more utility. Just because you're only Synchro Climbing with it, that's the only reason you need it. You can go for, I don't know, something else, a Black Rose. So you can, it's interchangeable with any level 7. You can play Dragster if you want to as well. It's just a Synchro Climb. You go into... Actually, sometimes you need the Rumble to revive the dragon, the level 7 dragon sometimes. So I think, I don't know, it can be a bit tricky. Okay, so the same thing. Go for your SD line. SD tribute itself, so you can trigger the Assault. Go for Crimson. Get Rumble as well. Assault revives SD. Add Rumble. Synchron to Jura. Go ahead and go into SMSD. You go into your XL Synchro. And right here, this is where it's going to be different, okay? Because usually what we want to do is go for the Omega. But in this case, we're going to end on the GENEX Synchro, right? So whether you prioritize the Omega or you prioritize the Bestial and the GENEX Synchro, because the GENEX Synchro can negate multiple things. Right? The only difference is that you're not going to have the return off of the Assault from the Omega, and you're not going to have the Omega Rip. You'll have the difference between having multiple monster negates. That's like the difference, having access to GENEX. Because now you have Wind, Dark, Earth, Light, Fire, Wind. Basically every attribute except for Water to negate. So that's a lot of negations. So what this means is SMSD and Herald can negate spells and traps, whereas GENEX alone can be negating monster effects. And if they try to play past that, then you go Jura Nuke, and then this will get you to a Dispatter. Dispatter will then give you something to negate as well, whether it's monster destruction, or then just give you something to reborn on your turn. Revive your Assault, revive your, I don't know, something to do. And this is going to be initiated the same way, but the difference is, what if you don't want to keep the Herald? What if you feel that it's a bit too vulnerable of an interaction? They can just go battle phase, attack over it, right? So what if we can just synchro it away and then make something else, right? It served its purpose. They didn't have the interaction you're trying to play around, so why keep it around? Just get something better. Well, I mean, I'm not sure what will be better. It's an Omni, so, you know? But I think it's more so if you feel that you don't want to lose an interaction just to a simple battle phase, right? So then we do everything the same. We Synchro Climb, except this time, we go into Crystal Wing first. So that will check the NIBIRU, assume they had NIBIRU or they have some sort of interaction. So now you can feel safe. I can get rid of the Herald now because I have Crystal Wing to protect me. So then now, I go for Ancient Fairy. So the lines change a little bit. And that's the thing I like about these lines and about this deck in general, is that you're not fixed in a particular way. You're just able to pivot and interchange them, which is really good. It's kind of rare to have these type of things in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Because everything's so efficient and so linear. That's what makes it efficient, because it is linear. But because you can do all these little intricate things with this type of decks, it's so fun. It makes every game different, right? Because it allows you to pivot towards or against an interaction. And this is awesome. Okay, so, and remember how I said that the Rumble can revive something else? And this is why we can check the NIBIRU as well, the GENEX. So now, we'll go ahead and trigger the effects of our trail. And see, this is what I was referring to, where before we couldn't dump off of Excel Synchron because Herald was preventing us, because every monster from hand or deck is banished instead, so we can't fulfill costs, so we can't send for Excel Synchron. But now that Herald's gone, we can send, and we can turn the Excel Synchron and the trail token into this batter. Pretty cool. So then we activate Revolution, just a tribute. We go into our Crimson. We activate our Rumble, revive. We turn that into a Jura. And then now we have our SMSD here. And then finally, our Rumble will revive our Crystal Wing. And this is our end board. So it'll vary. So you can also just get rid of the Herald and basically trade it for this, which is still pretty damn good. Of course, you don't have access to your Assault being returned because that would basically equate to another Omni. And there's another line where you don't even have to go Herald. It's a bit more riskier, so I don't see why you would do this route, but it's something that you can do. Maybe if we're going second, I guess, into a board because you need the attack power. So this doesn't play around Ash. If they Ash you here, you kind of cook. If you're trying to, I don't know, navigate towards a board where you have to risk this getting Ashed because you can't afford to make a Herald because Herald is an Omni going first, but going second is not that great unless you get to a particular point where it's convoluted and then you got to a scenario where Herald is meant to check the interaction that they didn't really anticipate you playing around, and you just check that. So when you do get to the play you want to do, Herald is just checking it. This is the way to do that. It's yeah, just go that. It's still under the NIBIRU range, which is nice. We increase, and all we do is just make Crystal Wing. Yeah, I mean, once again, this is a little bit more vulnerable to imperm, right? Because if they imperm you here, you're kind of just done. But it's another combo you can do. It'll change a bit because once again, the Herald's no longer there to prevent us from using the effect of Excel Synchron. But this is basically the same. This portion of the sequence is the same. And the biggest difference as well is that we're not going to be able to summon the trail, because normally we summon trail from deck, but because we dumped it to get illumination to the graveyard, we're just going to get 2 bodies off of her, right? Just her reviving herself and giving us the token. Get Rumble, go into Jura. Effect, go into SMSD. We're gonna go for Excel Synchron, and then we're gonna dump Stardust, increasing it by 4, make it a 9. Token is a dragon, and now we go for our revive the dragon. See, that's where the dragon matters, right? That's where the dragon matters. Being able to rumble this back and then mill for the rev or just for the jet to synchro climb for it. So that's why it's a bit weird if you want to play Dragster, because then you wouldn't be able to do that. So then maybe you would have to like find a way to tweak the line to get a Dragster another way. You're basically replacing the Herald with your Assault, because in standby phase, your Omega returns your Assault, which makes the Majestic a double Omni. Just to play it on Ash, instead of just going Converter Effect, Ash, you just get cooked. Like, this is so bad. So you rip. Double hand rip. You rip once, leave it there for their turn, return your Assault, double Omni. This is pretty cool. It's a bit more greedy, but you could do it. Alright, let me show you the deck. Here is the deck list. Compared to the Doppel variant, we were able to cut it, and we were able to cut the Shaman and the Marcher because they're no longer needed. The only reason you actually play these two is because it enables this guy to be even better, right? It increases the ceiling of this card. But because this is no longer there, you reviving a Converter, unless it's for a specific line that you require to revive it, then you would play it. But in the sequence that we're utilizing right now with this current extra deck and this current main deck, it's not necessary. So that's why I ended up placing the Crimson Dragon and the Jura and the SMSD back in. Because the way you have to view it is you either have the pivot options at the beginning, give you a bit more versatility to synchro climb incrementally, or you just have the conveniency of your SMSD and Assault, because Assault gets much better because you play Crimson. And I think that's the difference within the two builds, where Assault has a bigger role when you're playing Crimson compared to when you're not. Yeah, but everything else is pretty much the same. You're not necessarily synchro climbing. The other version has different combos you can do, whereas this one initiates itself very similar. They're all the Herald and then summon Junk, and then right, and then once you resolve Speeder, that's where it can deviate. Whereas that's usually the weakness, because it's become so predictable. They know exactly what to do. They know exactly how to interact with you. But I like making it obscure to make it to where they don't know what you're doing. So then they'll preemptively use a hand trap or an interaction when they weren't meant to. That's like the only issue I have. It's like the same thing with Adventure, where they know exactly what that does. They know how to interact. It's Adventure. It's quite simplistic. Then it becomes stale, right? Because now it's a matter of, okay, do you have the Ash? Whereas now it's like, I'm baiting you to think that I need this to resolve, or I don't need this to resolve, or what am I doing? Like, so you have a different aspect of technical play compared to just, do you have the answer to this? If not, my deck is consistent enough to do this over and over and over and over again that you'll get accustomed to it, but then you'll get bored of it, right? That's why you have all these stale, and people get bored of certain decks and formats where like, oh my god, the same thing over and over again. It's like, but because of the upper version, you can take different routes, but it's a bit more vulnerable. It's like you have to take your pick, I guess. You know, you want to be more efficient and less variance, but sometimes you want to be consistent with variance. So you're applying the term variance in a different manner. I don't know. I think they're both good. Of course, you want to be consistent. That's like the first and foremost thing that you want to do. You want to be consistent, and this is pretty damn good. So I showed you some of the things you can do depending on how they interact with you. Like, for example, if they stopped your Scrap Warrior, then what do you require to extend a tuning then? Because that means it gives you access to Assault with a special summon itself. It'll give you access to Speeder then, right? If they Ash your Synchro Fellows, what do you need then? Okay, now you just need to be able to have a Junk access, whether it be Junk itself, you have Overtake, you have Tuning itself, or Rhoda as well. So it'll vary in the way they interact with you and how the extender will change depending on what part of the sequence you're on. That's the fun thing about it, right? That's the fun. Like the thing I told you about baiting with the converter, like, hey, activate this, discard an Ash. Oh, I hope you don't negate this. And then you just go, okay, summon Junk, or you just go summon another converter and then do the line we just showed you just now. But once again, this is not meant to be, oh, you have to open converter and scrap. No. Once again, I have to keep reminding you. No. The point of this is to show you that every card in this deck has synergy. So that is consistency. That's what you want. If you have this line, go for it. But that's not the only line you're hoping to have. You have so many ways to play. You have the one card with this. You have these two. You have overtaken this. You have this Rhoda. You have Tuning Mill 2. You have Rhoda and this. There's so many ways to play this. The point is to show you, okay, that card version works. Okay, cool. I know now. Okay, that's awesome. That's basically going to be it. And now we're going to move on to the Force. Because I mean, well, actually, we'll see. Because there are some pretty cool things you can do with other twos. But I'm not sure if it's going to be a speeder build. Because I don't know. We'll see. I'll see what I can come up with. But I think there's other things you can do with two and a scrap. Like Synchro Fusion is. I don't know. I don't know, bro. But let's see where this goes. And I'll progressively keep experimenting and then keep showing you guys. Because I'm having a lot of fun with this new support. Of course, we're still waiting for 2 more cards. I'm hoping they're good. Because this is pretty decent. These two are fairly decent. This made this card a 1-card combo. And this is the 1-card combo, which is awesome. So I'm happy about this. So hopefully the last remaining cards are either a way to special summon this guy, or I don't know. I'm not sure at this point. I just hope it's good. But anyways, that's gonna be it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for watching.